evening and welcome to the Highgate Selectboard meeting for Thursday, July 18th, 2019. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for coming. We'll go right into public comments. Is there anyone here for public comments that's not on the agenda? Go ahead, Sue.
Sharon, I just wanted to let everybody know the state was down on Monument Road last week, and we did get the grant to fix up the bank from the flooding. And they came up to talk to Heidi right after they got done talking to me. We did get the money for the bank.
Okay, great.
And I want to let people know, Highgate residents, let them know that bank will be fixed, and we're not going to worry about it this coming winter.
Okay. Any other public comments? Okay. Moving right along, we'll go into the public hearing for the Hannah Road reclassification. And Jim, if we could hear from you first, and Yvonne, if you'd like to come up and join us as a representative from the Franklin board. Oh, come on, don't be shy.
Come on down.
So the state has a process to change a class of the town highway. And there's a bunch of questions. Heidi's done a really good job. She's worked with Bethany in regional planning and they put together the package. We've communicated. I've talked to the people in Montpelier that actually make this decision, or at least recommend. So the goal, upon both towns agreeing this is what we want to do, is to have a letter to the secretary by December 1st. Okay, so we need to apply, and I have what Heidi's put together. I would recommend something similar from the town of Franklin. Get it to Montpelier earlier than December 1st, hopefully, and we need the Secretary of Transportation's signature to make this happen. So I talked to Heidi in my discussions. We need to justify going over the recommended 25% of our roads being class 2s, and I think you have done that. I don't see that as a big issue. The new issue for me is the discussion about having connector roads between towns, which is really what a class 2 road is. It's a major connector between two towns. Having more than one. So right now we already have one class 2 road connecting with Franklin, right? So okay. We could expect a little bit of conversation about the second class 2 road that connects Highgate and Franklin. So just to give you a heads up, they might ask you some questions. However, I really like Heidi's cover letter, talking about the funding need and talking about eligibility. If we did have, at least you'd be in the running for a class 2 grant, because most people don't know, but we can't give a grant for a class 3. Okay, so as we try to issue our grants to our 34 towns in some kind of fair way, you can only give the class 2 for a class 2 road. So there's an advantage there, and other advantages. If you are stuck with a class 3, it is still eligible for an emergency grant. So say we had a fairly large disaster, we still could work through the emergency grant for a class 3 road. Okay, so I support you guys in what you're trying to do. Hopefully you put as good effort into this cover letter, and we think we know what the hurdle might be, so we'll work together to try to figure that out.
Okay.
Has it been brought up to the department that road with the completion of the new East Highgate Bridge will then go under a lot more travel? That's what our towns are expecting to see.
I don't know if did you talk about that?
Well, it did go down a little bit in the last, they did it in 2018 and it was just around 300, and the previous road traffic study that they had done was much higher. It was like 360, and that was a few years ago. So I really can't say how the construction will affect it, but it seems likely that it would put more traffic on that road.
Hearsay and discussion, I'm hearing they're avoiding it at presently until the new bridge is done. And I'm guessing it's gonna jump 20%.
I mean, that's good feedback for the town to decide if you want to modify what you wrote, Heidi, add that in. We got to present our best case to get
Might
people.
be-
What does that actually do to the speed limit on that road? Will it change the speed limit?
That's up to the town and your ordinances and what you pass for your
Because it
speed.
took us several years to get it from 50 down to 40 where it's almost safe to be on the side of the road.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, the town roads, your speed limits are controlled by you guys, right? Controlled by the select boards, and you set the ordinances so you can enforce the speed limits.
So we can keep it at that, we can keep it at 40 then?
I don't have any say as a state person on the town speed limit.
Okay.
Okay, I can try to link you with the right resources so we can get information. Bethany can too. Bethany's very good at that, so.
Well, if it does go to change of class, what benefits, other than grants, is there any benefits for the rest of us that live on that road? Is there any benefits that's gonna come to us as far as upgrades or, does the state gonna do the snow removal or is it still gonna be town?
Still gonna be a town road, so you guys would have to take care of your town road. As far as one of the main benefits is just, the town gets a set amount of money from the state based on the class highway. So for a class 2, sorry, right here, facing. For a class 2, it's like $4,300 a mile or $4,400 a mile, something like that. For a class 3, it's like $1,700 a mile. So getting money from the state on a quarterly basis, you get a little bit more money for a class 2 road. And then also another big benefit is it would be eligible, it would be put in the mix for a grant, for a class 2 grant once in a while. And it takes a long time to make it your turn for a grant, because we try to keep that fair and equitable.
Right. So this money that the state gives the town, that money is to be used on that road and that road only? Or is it going to the general fund?
These guys decide.
So we get about 150,000 here in Highgate a year, and that offsets the entire highway fund, the highway budget. So it is for the highway department to use on all road maintenance. And it's one pool of money, like Jim said, we get paid quarterly. It's about $38,000 a quarter. That goes to the highway budget to offset all of their road maintenance and highway costs.
So as a resident of the Hannah Road, what difference would I see if it goes from a class 3 to a class 2?
You probably wouldn't see any noticeable difference. As Jim said, your speed limits are the same. You already meet the classifications for a class 2 road, so your width is already what it needs to be. And your stormwater and what have you all still follow under the same rules and regulations. So as a Hannah Road resident, and Jim, speak up if I'm wrong, but it would be my understanding that there really wouldn't be any change for you.
Well, as another resident on that road, I addressed one of the things that Kevin said. We're not going to see, the speed is an issue on that road. That is enforcement that we'd like to see. That's a different issue altogether. But we do see a lot of speed. When the bridge was originally closed for a period of time, we saw a dramatic decrease in traffic. And then once you start opening up, there's a lot of traffic. I mean, people come from Franklin, through Franklin, and use that as a shortcut. So.
It's not only Franklin, it's Berkshire, Richford,
Sure.
Amesburg, I mean.
But we have seen some improvements on the road. Thank you guys for doing that. I mean, we've seen some ditching that's been done recently. But there is some issues on the East Highgate side that it hasn't been resurfaced for a good number of years. We would expect to see something done.
Well, not only that, but the guardrails that were put up a few years ago, supposedly for safety reasons, the weeds are growing out into the road. It's not safe. We can't even walk down the road anymore because the weeds are growing out both from my place down the hill, and you go over the hill to past Gary Hanna's farm, same situation. I mean, the weeds are growing right out, and it's getting a little dangerous just driving.
Yeah, our highway department is working hard to try to get the roadsides mowed. So I know they are working on
You can't
that.
mow that.
You can't
It's
mow
gotta
it.
be sprayed or weed whacked.
I'll give it to Butch.
It's on our agenda to get to it. We are behind this year by almost a month. So it's going to be taken care of. It may be a little while yet. The spray, we found out that by spraying, it saved a lot of time, but it takes the chemicals in the spray, it's taking the galvanized off of the guardrails. So
Oh.
we've kind of limited to what, either we have all rusty guardrails or we weed whack, and that's time.
That's time consuming.
But being a class 2 road, if it was changed to a class 2 road, you would see in the long run more paving because their grants are more available for 2s than 3s.
That's what we were hoping for.
Yes.
I mean, I applaud going that route. It gets a lot of use. I mean, there's a lot of truck traffic, there's a lot of tractor truck traffic on the road, and it just wears down the highway. And I know that recently half of it up to the Franklin line was paved a couple of years ago, perhaps. But the East Highgate side really needs some resurfacing done. It's cracked. There's one section below my house that there's a sinkhole that never ever seems to be taken care of. I mean, you're constantly putting fill in that and filling it and filling it. It's something that we would like to see fixed.
Can I take a stab at this?
Absolutely.
So I think with a class 2 road, you have a little bit more opportunity. It takes a while to get a grant. I did say that a second ago, but I want to make sure you understand that we get about $2.2 million a year in this district. We're 34 towns, and that's for your bridges and your class 2 roads. So a town that might get a class 2 road, to put this in perspective, might get a class 2 grant. It could be 6 years before they get another class 2 grant based on 34 towns in a cycle to keep things fair with everybody. So, but the good news is at least you'd be in the mix. You know, instead of being a class 3 where nobody can really get any state dollars unless we're in an emergency situation. So that's part of the benefit, I think, of trying to do a class 2. There really isn't much. There's no miracle by turning it into a class 2. It just gets considered more often.
So would it be more saleable if both Highgate and Franklin went together on this as opposed to just Franklin?
That's one of the requirements. The state wanted to approve just one town making a class 2 to a certain point.
So it's an all or nothing.
All or
type
nothing,
of
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, this is a joint venture. The town of Franklin had approached the town of Highgate with this request, and this is our final public hearing on the matter to get input from residents and more from the state, so we understand what that does to us and to you folks that live on that road. Yvonne.
No, I just want to let people know that the select board in the town of Franklin has been speaking about this for a while, and so people in our area as well know what our intentions are as a joint venture. Haven't heard anything. I didn't know if anyone was going to be here tonight. Haven't heard anything negative on our side of the spectrum here. Something that we've been talking about, as you folks know, we feel that this road connects 3 major arteries. It's not just 120 and 78. We feel that there's even a connection with 105. I know it's a different road to get, from 105 to 78, but we feel that that part of the Hannah Road is connects you to 105 as well. And I think when we bring up the subject of this new bridge, we have the feeling that we are going to see an increase of traffic as well. And I can say that the select board is very positively in favor of this. And we know it's a joint venture. We're all in on this.
So the more details you get in your letter, what you're talking about, the better.
Okay.
So let's let the secretary understand your main points. Take your time, write them all down for consideration.
And something
Will
else.
that change any of the agricultural practices up and down the road? For example, the Hannahs will cross their cows there, and there's various things on the McAllister farm that goes back and forth, and will it curtail any of that?
I'm not sure. I don't think so at this time. Any more than what we're already seeing, I wouldn't think so. Not in that area. Not agriculture-wise, I don't think, in a way.
I don't think we could limit an agricultural
No.
business in that way anyway. I don't think the state would allow that, and I don't think
I don't want to start anything, but you guys have Title 19, Section 1111 at your disposal. So if a person wants to put a driveway on your town road, then you communicate with that person and you make sure that driveway doesn't put a whole bunch of water that's going to wash out your shoulder every time it rains. So
Right.
and you also make sure that driveway is in a safe location for sight distance for the traveling public. So I would actually recommend that if there's an unsafe crossing, that you guys do have that conversation and try to pick a safe sight distance, considering the business, sure, but also considering the traveling public, because we got to keep them safe.
So I would ask the residents, if that were the case, if you felt there was an unsafe area that was due to an agricultural business or driveway or anything else that might obstruct the view or ability for the traveling public as well, that you let us know.
I didn't bring that up to limit that, but there's not a voice here that represents them.
Right.
I would hate to say it to go from a class 3 to a class 2, and then somebody come along and say, you know, you can't cross your cows here.
You can't stop ingress and egress of land across the road.
They cross state roads a lot of places. So
Yeah.
I'd like to see them limit the four-wheeler traffic.
We're working on that, trust me, we're working on it.
Any movement on that?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we have changed police providers as part of the change in that, and have been working on new policies and enforcement of our ordinances so that some of that's curtailed. So we hope to see progress with that. It won't happen overnight, but we're working on it.
So how many citations were written up in the last 14 months or 15 months since it came into play?
But in all fairness, the St. Albans Police Department has only been on the job 18 days.
he's asking for the last, from the past.
The previous law enforcement agency did nothing.
Well, I thought the whole purpose of the meetings we sat here was to give our constable more authority. Whatever happened there?
We don't have a constable. Our constable resigned, so it left us in a peculiar position of requiring our law enforcement contract to handle that, and they were not willing to put a full-fledged effort into that.
They said they will not chase them.
None of the agencies. I talked to the state police, I talked to Franklin County Sheriff's before, after that deal with Sheldon.
Yep, they will not chase.
Yeah, and it's not a matter of chasing, but it is a matter of safety, respect. It's illegal to travel on state roads. It's illegal to travel on the town's road at this point. People know where these people live. There can be photographs, there can be calls to the St. Albans Police to say, hey, so-and-so rides up and down my road every night at 10 o'clock. I live such and such, be here, and get to the bottom of it. You know?
They have voiced the idea of possibly starting to confiscate them.
Yeah.
If they confiscate them, then it's gonna cost either the person or the parents some bucks to get their four-wheeler back out. Maybe they'll start thinking then,
You're talking unregistered noisemakers?
whatever, if it's a
If it's on the
different-
road.
Right, if it's on the road, or they catch it at the gas station, now they get their fly.
Well, I was told that I could go on the road to go check my
That's
properties.
different.
Yeah, there is,
But I'm on the road.
Yes, but that's different.
Different code.
That's different, yeah.
yeah, there is a section of our ordinance that does allow people to do that. People to check their cattle, their fencing, hunting, fishing. But we know that there are a few bad apples and a bunch of good apples. And it's our hope to get rid of some of the bad apples, or at least make it cost them.
The other thing that we've seen on the Hannah Road is a great, or at least I have, is a great increase in bicycle traffic. I don't know if it's bicycle tours, but it's not just one or two, and I'm not recognizing anybody. And as Kevin has said, that's quite a tough road to walk on. You've got the bicycles going up and down there, and I would hate to see anything that would increase the speed limit.
I don't think
That's not an issue in
It's
this
not
case by
part of the
considering that
plan.
road. And the Franklin Highgate Road is a 40-mile-an-hour road.
On our side. Isn't it higher on their side?
I think it is.
45?
45.
But anyway, there'd be a consistency there if we have them in that area. And then again, you mentioned the bikers on the Hannah Road, you ought to see them coming down the Gore, out of Canada. Like flocks of them.
That's right.
They're all coming down
Canada,
Canada
yeah.
bikers on the weekend.
Spring.
All the roads are dangerous.
Yeah.
People need to slow down. Where I'm living, it drops from 40 to 35. No one ever goes down to 35. And you can actually see the sign. I actually pointed to the sign to people and they step on the gas. I mean, that's the mentality.
Did they point back to you a different finger?
No, they were going too fast, I couldn't see them. But I think it's a wonderful idea of a joint venture of having this road reclassified, especially if we can get grants down the road. I think it's a great idea. Maybe that can help us get our road paved. Maybe it can help get the Durkee Road paved. I know that was an issue at town clerk meeting. So.
But yes, and give us a little patience, because unfortunately, it's very expensive and time consuming to try to get to all of the roads, and Butch will certainly attest to that, and Jim too, I'm sure, will say that it's hard to keep up the maintenance with all the roads, and so far, you know, we've been very fortunate, and I'm very happy to have Butch on board to look out for our roads, and Jim couldn't be better for the state part of our roads, so we thank them very much for all they do for us.
As far as the Hannah Road, as far as the paving, that section that needs it, we held off just a couple of years because of the bridges being built. There's a few sections on the Nashi Road that need addressing too, so we're kind of keeping the paving a little bit in one section of the town, or in two, because it costs so much to move. So this year we'll be doing Highgate Center and Highgate Springs, and hopefully next year, if we have enough money, or it'll be the year after that, the Hannah and the Nashi are on the schedule for it.
Okay. You good?
I think so. Do the residents have any other, or anyone else from the public have any other questions, concerns? Select board? Yvonne?
Good.
State process is usually on the slow side. But we'd like to be a good technical resource for all of our towns, so we'll help you through this process. And Bethany is critical. Her work is outstanding.
Well, we appreciate your help as well, and
Yep, you're welcome.
we appreciate the Franklin Select Board coming to us with this proposal and being excellent to work with, so.
I was going to say the same thing. I want to thank everyone from the Highgate and the residents on both sides. It's actually nice to work together. It's nice to see that.
It's okay. So that's all for that?
So you had a draft letter and
Yes.
road certification in there, but it sounds like we could add one more point about potential increase in traffic when the bridge is, construction is complete. So if you want, I can modify that and then you can do it at your next meeting.
Okay. All right,
Makes
let's
sense? I'll send
do that.
Lisa what we
Okay.
have.
Yeah, and-
Sure.
Work together.
okay.
Can you also put in there that we, the residents are concerned with the speed limit staying what it's at, too, please? Because I just have a funny feeling that sometime down the road, that either somebody's gonna mean they're gonna move it, try to move it up. We work too hard to get it down where it is, so I don't wanna see it going the other way.
Okay. That'll definitely be in the minutes of our meeting here. And if the speed limit were to change, there'd be a public hearing. So you could always express that as well at that time. I think this has more directly to do with just the Class 2 certification, not so much the town regulations for that road, but we could certainly make sure that that is an issue that's kept in our minutes as a reference point for the future. Okay, so yes, so we will ask you to just update that with one more point. We'll bring it back and sign it.
Great.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Thank you for putting this on for us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Yvonne.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And thank you, residents, for coming.
Thanks. Have a good night.
Okay, so we are going to immediately go into the health order meeting. So we have Mary Souza, who is our health officer. Mary, can you give us a brief description of what's going on without jeopardizing the privacy of individuals?
In April, I received an anonymous call for a complaint on health concerns at a trailer. I did the site visit and indeed found at least 9 concerns that would be detrimental to health of not only the resident, but possibly to other residents in the park. The biggest concern was not having water or sewer. At the time, the trailer was considered a rental. There's been some complications along the way due to the death of the landowner, and then not knowing where their trust and everything was as far as where money could come down to fix the area's problems. I did have to deal with the state as well because there was some safety hazards as far as fire alarms, so they also got involved. Working with them, we were able to get some of the major concerns as far as fire safety worked on. The water has now been turned back on,
Fabulous.
which took longer than I was expecting, but nonetheless, it is on. I do still see some issues that need to be addressed, so I guess I would like to say that not totally go forward with a full health order, but maybe work on it with some more site visits and outline what we should expect to continue the safety of not only the tenants but residents.
Okay. So I would like to say that it's our policy not to remove people from their homes. And we thank you very much, Mary, for stepping in and looking out for the safety and well-being of a resident. I would ask at this time, since there has been progress, and we're expecting more progress as we go, to table this health order with the understanding that there are expectations of further improvements, and that Mary would monitor that and bring it back to the select board at that time. But I thank everybody. We want to protect our citizens. You have a right to have water. You have a right to have sewage. And those are important basic needs. So we want to make sure that everybody has that and that that's taken care of and that you're safe. And that's whether you own your home or whether you rent, you deserve a certain amount of respect as a human being. So we are very happy that Mary and Dick are working on that, and we will give you the opportunity to go forward.
If I may, I'm Michael Gahn.
Sorry about that. Yes, please.
That's okay. I'm Michael Gahn. I'm the successor trustee of the revocable trust that was initiated by the now deceased donor. He died in 2017. He was under guardianship at that point in time. He had a person that was managing that mobile home, the subject mobile home, as well as several other mobile homes that are of similar condition, similar ilk. I was eventually asked by the probate court if I would take over for the guardian who was also the rental manager. And I was appointed as the successor guardian sometime in 2018. My job as the successor guardian was basically just to close up the guardianship, and the guardianship has now been closed. When the guardianship is closed, it needs to go from the guardianship to an estate, and the people that were named as the executor of the estate, there were two gentlemen, the two sons of the decedent's girlfriend, both of whom live out of state. Eventually they said that they did not want to take on the job, and as a result the court asked me if I would take on not only the job of being the guardian, but whether I'd be the executor. And then everything that was actually that the estate consisted of very little in the way of assets. There was some property in Swanton, downtown Swanton, that was actually owned by the estate that never got effectively transferred to the trust. And eventually I was appointed as the successor guardian and the successor trustee back in March of this year. The estate does have assets. I use that word loosely. One of the assets is the subject mobile home. Once I was appointed, actually before I was appointed, I did talk with the various tenants of the various mobile homes that are owned by the decedent's trust, and suggested that the condition of those mobile homes was not sufficient, that I was going to try to charge rent. I felt that there would be just nothing but trouble if I were to charge rent. So I have not received any rental income on these properties. That said, is that I did tell the people that were in this particular mobile home park that if they wanted to stay in the park, they would need to make arrangements with the mobile home park owner to pay the rent on the lot. Otherwise, the mobile home park owner may say, whether or not the rent is paid on the mobile home, you got to move out of here because we're not getting any rent. And I believe that the particular tenant of the subject property has been paying the back due rent. More recently, once I was appointed, then the mobile home is owned by the trust. Even though the mobile home bill of sale was recorded in Swanton, it was effective to transfer the property. And so it's actually owned by the trust. The probate court, even though it was an inter vivos trust, that's a trust that's normally not subject to probate court supervision. The probate court said they were going to assert jurisdiction over everything that was in the trust, which meant that in order for me to do anything with the trust, I had to get probate court approval. I now have that approval, and pursuant to that approval, I have transferred the mobile home to the subject, to the resident of that mobile home, and I have dropped a copy of the mobile home bill of sale at the town clerk's office, albeit that it cannot be.
But it's not transferred yet because it's still.
It can't be
delinquent
registered
taxes.
in the town clerk's office until the delinquent taxes have been
Right.
addressed. We do have a request for the Board of Abatement to consider abating the taxes, considering the lack of value that this mobile home has. And we'll wait and see what happens, but in any event, once the tax issues have been resolved, whether by abatement or by payment, then the mobile home bill of sale can be recorded and it will be effective. But in any event, I think that many of the violations that Ms. Souza had raised were basically on the residential rental code, and as a result, the legal, technical violations may have been resolved. That doesn't mean to say that the physical problems have all been resolved, and I'm hoping that the occupant, now owner of the property, is able to get the assistance that she was able to get when it was considered to be rental property. Back in the winter, there was some problems with the heating system, and what we did is we contacted a variety of sources, eventually contacting somebody at the Department of Social Welfare. And if the mobile home were owned by the trust, there would be no assistance that could be given because the trust is not eligible for assistance. At this time, with the mobile home now being owned by the occupant, it is eligible for some sort of assistance. My reason for coming tonight is to let you folks know where things are, is to apologize that the trust does not have the money with which to turn this thing around. It has zero money. I'd be paying the delinquent taxes if I had it.
So the mobile homes are owned separately from the lot?
In code
That is correct.
Where they would pay the rent to be on the property.
Okay. So what makes me nervous in the conversation that you just had is that little part where you said that the other mobile homes were in similar condition. That makes me nervous.
I've not been in any of the mobile homes, even the subject mobile home. Actually, I was in one of the mobile homes in Swanton, and it had holes in the roof and holes in the floor. That one is now unoccupied. And if anybody's interested in buying it, let me know. But
He only owns 2 in town.
he only owns 2 in Highgate.
Okay.
He owns 5 in Swanton, albeit it's an undivided 1/2 interest. The other half interest is owned by the girlfriend's estate, and he owns 3 mobile homes in Albert. And I've never been in any of them. I've been on the door stoop. I've knocked on the doors and things like that, but I've never been in, and frankly, I'm not sure that I want to go in.
What is your plan with the other trailer in Highgate? Are you talking
I've
about
spoken with the other occupant. She directed me that I should speak with her husband or boyfriend. I gave her my contact information and suggested that they contact me. I would be happy to convey the trust's interest in that other mobile home to the occupant. The property in Swanton, I actually own the land upon which the mobile homes are located. And I also own another parcel of land in Swanton. If you're crossing the bridge into Albert, towards Albert, in downtown Swanton, just before the bridge on the left-hand side, there's a store on the corner, and then just next to the store, there's another house. That house I own.
So,
And that's the house in which some dog was killed last year that got some notoriety. It's now vacant.
so for us, we're interested in the two properties here.
Yes.
We want to make sure that our residents are safe
Yeah.
and ethically treated, and that's our concern here.
Yeah.
Other property, again, I've not been in it. I've not received a complaint from either the tenant or from Ms. Souza. I only have suspicion.
So the biggest question is there water and sewer in that one?
My understanding
There
is that there is.
There is. Okay.
I have noticed in my several visits to the park that other trailer in question has done a lot to clean up their area. So I think there's been I think the park manager is probably helping with that assistance. So, I guess I'd like to speak on behalf of the tenant that I'm actually working with. Some of the concerns.
She is here.
Some of the concerns that we have is seem to have inadequate trash removal for the number of trailers that are in there. So in order to meet my real big concerns, I think she could use some assistance with getting some of that taken care of out of her trailer. And that would be a big improvement to other trailers as well. As far as, in that area, there would not be trash filled up. They're only allowed to put like 6 bags every 2 weeks, am I correct? Yes. Which isn't a lot, in my opinion, for a trailer park. But the other thing I noticed, there was not a recyclable container in the park, so I will have to, I believe that's mandatory now, so I'll have to talk to whoever's putting the trash there and see what they're gonna do for that. The tenant has contacted weatherization now that there's a possible ownership, and there's some bright hope there to help them. Long waiting list, but hoping to get it moved up into some of the critical areas.
Right. Ma'am, would you like to speak?
Yes. So I speak from here, speak from there.
You can sit right there, that's fine.
The trailer he's talking about, I've lived there for 23 years. Up until last year, I rented. Howard Chandler was a man, you don't take a penny out of your rent for nothing. He keeps saying, Mike's gonna come fix it, Mike never did. So.
Let's just clarify, you're not talking about this Mike, you're talking about another Mike.
Mike Stell.
Okay.
He was a property man when.
I wasn't much help, to tell the truth, but at least I wasn't taking money out of my pocket.
I just wanted to clarify that. Sorry to interrupt.
So anyways, when Howard died, Mike said, I'm going to pay.
The other Mike.
You've been the maintenance guy for some odd years, I'll give it to you. Then I get a letter from this gentleman saying, don't do that. So my head's going, okay. Meeny, miny, mo. So I started paying just a lot rent that I owed. So the conditions of the trailer are not my fault, because when you rent and you can't take anything out of the rent, why would, you know what I mean? It makes it hard. But like she said, I have contacted weatherization. I've done everything that she's asked me to do. That's my home. The dumpster is because there are 9 trailers in that trailer park. And when each person can only put 5 bags in a month, that don't give you a lot for cleaning out. And if you put in any more than that, this one will complain, or that one will complain, but, so I'm doing everything I possibly can do. Obviously I'm handicapped, but I'm still doing everything I could possibly do to meet the safety for the water was put back on, and because I didn't have any heat, that's why.
I did assist with that. I did contribute $100 of the little bit of money that I have.
Right. He did help me with that. I did get it. It was only one little bitty pipe. You know, but I've been there 23 years, never had a frozen pipe the whole time. But when you don't have heat, that's what happens. A lot of mornings we wake up, we could see our breath in there, me and my son, the dog and the cat, but that was home. So we went through heck last winter. Space heaters, electric blankets, you know, because I had no place to go. I can't, third box from the left, at back of Price Drop, where are you gonna go? You know, rent is so expensive and I only live on disability. But I wanted to reassure you guys by coming here tonight and everything that, you know, I'm doing everything she asked me to do. You know, I'm doing everything possible to, because I want it to look better too. Because it's mine, basically, and I got a lot of ideas, but, you know, I'm slowly but surely, but I'm going to, you know, like I said, me and my kid are going to do everything we can to make sure that everything is up to par, and I was very happy to have water. Because my friend Deborah Craig, she lives next door to me, and without her we wouldn't have made it. We were jugging water from her. When it was too cold, we were going to her house and staying over there for a little bit till till we could come back over. She helped us do everything. We would have froze to death, honestly. She took us to the store to get the blankets. I took my lot rent to get what I needed, but Inco understood because I told them, what else am I going to do? So they understood. I've got 1 more month left, and then all my back lot rent from from the pipe freezing is all paid off. And I talked with Inco, and they're going to work with me if I do end up by having to pay the back taxes. Inco is willing to work with me on a budget that I can handle to get the back taxes taken care of, and hopefully if I end up by owing you people back taxes, I'll work with you people too to pay it off, in a timely manner, and stuff like that, because I got a lot of plans for the trailer too, but until you own everything I was told last year, well, you don't own it, can't help you. Don't own it, can't help you. That's what I went to Weather Station, I went to, 5 different places we went to, and we were told every time, you don't own it, we can't help you. Community Action wouldn't help me, nobody would. I didn't know what to do, but I did the best I could, and
That's where we're in a catch-22, because you won't own it until those taxes are paid.
I know.
Well, actually, she does own it, it's just that she can't get it registered.
I have the paper with me. Do you want to see it?
No, I've seen it.
Pardon me?
Is the bill of sale enough for?
It's a mobile home bill of sale.
Can she work with agencies that way?
Yes, I believe she can, but, that's up to the agency, but as far as getting it registered, like, I can own a piece of real estate in Highgate without a deed, it's just that nobody recognizes it, the tax bill will continue to come to the registered owner, so my suspicion is that until it gets registered, Shelley will send, or Shelley or Wendy or whoever sends out the tax bills will send them to me, and then I'll send them on to the occupant.
Right.
But she technically does own it, it's just that it's not registered.
And I got paper from Debbie and the other people around me that helped me to get through all this, because it was awful, but, we did what we had to do to get through it all.
So can you call me in the morning and we can set something up that works for you?
For
the taxes?
Well, I wanted to wait till the amendment came in and see if I had to pay them or not, because he said he filed an amendment with a copy of it. So I wanted to see that. But I will, if it doesn't go through, I will, she's my only transportation, my car doesn't need a transmission, so, but I will definitely,
Yeah.
I'll definitely do it up. I'm not a slacker, never have.
Okay.
I wanted to make, I came tonight for a few reasons, but, to reassure you guys that, I'm doing everything I can. And to, reassure you guys, I had, all the help I could have. And, I'm gonna work my hardest to do whatever it is I have to do to keep my trailer and get it fixed up and do whatever I have to do to make it look, presentable for the trailer park as well as the health department as well as everybody else. Like we came tonight.
I would just mention that there is a penalty for transferring the mobile home without getting the taxes paid, but we were in a catch-22, which was the worst penalty, not being able to address the problems because of no assistance being available, or doing something and running the possibility that there be a penalty assessed for having done it without having paid the taxes first.
When did she become the owner of the property?
Earlier this month.
So just, okay.
I just got the
And-
probate court approval for a license to sell in June, and then it's just been a few.
Last Friday, right, I signed my
Then-
paper last Friday.
Yeah.
Does the property have its own water supply, or is,
The Inco supplies,
It's a well.
the trailer part of the lot rent.
so that's part of the lot rent?
And the sewer as well.
Was the frozen water issue responsibility, your responsibility, or the
They
trailer
get water
park?
to the trailer, as long as there's water to the trailer, that covers the trailer part.
My understanding is
Okay.
that the reason why the water pipe broke is because of the lack of heat
Heat,
and a
right.
frozen pipe, and that wouldn't be that's not the park owner's responsibility, that would be the owner of the
There were a lot of water pipes that froze right in the ground,
back cabin, and if that happens, if it were frozen on the ground, it would be the park owner,
but that was
this
not the case.
particular
No.
That
problem
was not the
safe.
case here.
Actually,
No, mine
Okay.
was because, on the 29th of December, my blower motor went in my furnace, and I
Uh-huh.
called around, and this gentleman, Alan Pigeon, showed up, and he told me that we couldn't run the furnace anymore, blah, 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 all that good stuff, so obviously I couldn't run my furnace anymore. And, of course, with no heat underneath the trailer, something's gonna, we tried space heaters and put them where everybody said, put it here, we did, but it just wasn't up, it was below zero, but I only had that one little pipe, that little hot water pipe that froze so far. So that's the only, but now I got water. I had plumbing, but without water, plumbing ain't really,
Oh, yeah.
but I had my plumbing the whole time, it's just the water thing that, 6 months later, I got my water back, so I'm happy not to have to eat water for dinner.
that happened earlier this month as
Guess
well.
that is.
Well, technically, if the furnace went, it's under the owner of the trailer park, because he owned the trailer at the time.
He didn't own the trailer.
No, the trailer park owner did not own the trailer.
The park owner didn't own
No.
the trailer.
The only thing
The-
trailer
the
park,
trust owned the
they
trailer,
own my
the
lot,
trust had no
but they don't
money.
own my trailer.
And it's illegal for me as an attorney to lend money to a client. So there's nothing I could do. I couldn't use my own money to help the tenant, occupant, nor could I go to a bank and say, can you loan money to the trust who has no ability to repay it.
Yeah, but you just said she just signed the papers last week to own the trailer, so who owned the trailer before that?
It was owned by the trust.
Okay, the trust should be responsible for it.
That could be, but the trust doesn't have anything.
There's nothing left to the trust.
I mean, you can't get blood out of a stone.
Well,
And so I wish this trust had a lot of money.
why didn't they
I
liquidate?
owe $70,000 to the hospital. I owe $60,000 to the former girlfriend whose estate. I have some debts there that are probably not going to get paid. So, I have a few assets that may be something that I can apply to various things. And if the occupant wants to send me a claim, the period of time within which to file a claim with me is expiring sometime in early August, like August 8th. So if you want to file a claim, if a tenant somebody wants to file a claim, they need to do so. If they don't do so, then there's nothing that the trust can do, or actually the trust can do something other than the probate court. If the trust were not subject to probate court jurisdiction, the trust, if it had assets, could do something. If it's subject to probate court jurisdiction, which the court says it is, despite my argument to the contrary, you got 4 months from the date of first publication, which was sometime early April.
I don't really give a damn about the trust, but they could have liquidated, but I am concerned that people might freeze to death in the town of Highgate. That is a problem. It should not be allowed to happen.
I did help as much as I possibly could. I think that the occupant would say that I did spend it. I was told that the furnace had busted on December 31st, which is a bad day to try and find to get anything to do. And I spent that whole day and the remainder of that day and another couple days thereafter, once things got reopened, to see what I could do. And the answer was, there was nothing that could be done from social welfare until such time as the occupant actually owned the mobile home. And the earliest that could happen because of the probate court's actions was in June.
Well, I'm thankful you're not dead while they waited to figure this out in court.
Well, when I got somebody else to look at the furnace, I want a second opinion. Mr. Pigeon had cut every cord in my furnace was this big. Every cord, even the one that controlled my furnace, everything. So there was nothing I could do with it because every wire was this long. And when I called him and said, why? He said, I wrote on your thing, which I had with me, it needs to be replaced. I said, okay, but, you know, I don't understand why he did that, but I think it was so that nobody could do anything with it, so they'd end up like having to replace it. But I'm hopeful that weatherization will at least give me a brand new furnace. That's what I'm hoping for.
I really don't know anything about plumbing and what all, but I do know that if something's not right, the plumber is supposed to do something like, I think it's called red tag it, and disable it from functioning, because it may be more dangerous to have it function improperly than to have it not function at all.
It was a sad set of circumstances, and hopefully we are on the right track now. As a new homeowner, buyer beware, be careful who you get to do your work. Make sure they're reputable.
I make sure I talk to 2 or 3 other people that they've had to do their work and stuff like that before I say, yeah, go ahead. This guy that I came across was from a friend of a friend, and I said to him, he goes, well, you only got one pipe, and I said, well, you better know what you're doing underneath there, because if you cause me more problems, then I'm going to be mad. But the guy took maybe an hour, and I got water, so.
That's a great start. So Mary, we'll charge you with that responsibility. If you have any issues, you know where we are. Richard, would you like to say something?
Nope. Okay, it's all good.
All right.
Chances are I won't come back to the next one. I thought I should come to this one just to.
Okay. We appreciate your input.
You did say something about table.
Yes.
Do you need a motion to table that?
Please.
So I'll make that motion to table it.
Okay.
There is about, I talked to Ankle, there's about $5,000 back lot rented to run that trailer. And I said to them, you know, because Mike Stell collected the money, I thought Mike would have to pay the money back. But according to what I'm hearing, he's claiming that, oh, Howard told me to do it. Well, Howard passed away, and Mike was still collecting lot rent and going on these trips to Maine, New Hampshire, and all this stuff. So I called Enco and said, why should I have to pay? Because I went to H&R Block and I got my renter's rebate saying I paid my rent in full those 2 years. But they said they didn't know if I'd have to pay the back lot rent or not. I said, that's not fair. For me to have to pay $5,000 that rent if I've already paid it.
Right.
So I'm waiting to see what they're gonna say, along with the same thing with the taxes. When I did my rent, it was supposed to cover the taxes, it was supposed to cover the everything, and now I may have to pay $640 back that, once again, Mike dropped the ball, and I'm getting, you know, not stuck paying it, but, you know, he's doing everything he can to help me, but long story short, maybe a long road, but I just don't think it's right for Mike to be able to do all this stuff, and I get the fallback. And a lot of stuff that wasn't.
She's talking about the other Mike.
Yes.
Are these other parties now cut out of these financial arrangements?
Mike Stell is.
To some degree. Mike Stell, if there's any assets to be distributed out of the trust, Mike Stell is one of the beneficiaries. So
sounds like you benefited enough already.
Wow.
He has some connection, but right at the moment, it's tentative at best whether he's going to receive any benefit from the trust.
Well, I seen the diamond his girlfriend's wearing, and boy, I bought her a wonderful diamond, let me tell you, it's big.
Okay, so do I have a second on tabling the
Second.
health order? Okay, all those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
So what's gonna happen is Mary is gonna continue to work with you to keep improving your situation,
Oh, yes, definitely.
you know, as the health officer. This particular Mike has applied for an abatement,
Yes.
so there'll be another hearing for that.
We'll come to that one.
Okay, to see what the board says about that.
Okay.
And then, at that time, if they do not abate the taxes, you'll contact Shelley, and she'll set up a payment plan for you, which will help pay the taxes if you're deemed responsible for them, okay? In the meantime,
Oh, you always worry, you know, if they're gonna say, no, you gotta move out until it's paid or something, you know, I
Worry about that.
yeah, we're not gonna throw you out,
I love my place, even though
Just-
it's nothing else, it's my home.
that's right.
We just have to set a date, a continuance date.
So, Mary, what do you feel is an appropriate time?
Feeling September,
September, okay?
a couple of months to, I may ask for continuance and depending on the heating. The heating
Okay.
is my biggest concern going forward.
Okay.
The winter will be here, you know, hopefully weatherization will.
So the old furnace is still in there?
But it's inoperable.
It's
Yeah,
a,
yeah, it's all in cut
And I
up.
did speak to weatherization because my trailer's in 1973, and they said there, doesn't matter what year the trailer is, that they would, I could sign up, and I talked to community action lady, said explain your situation, and they may be able to come in earlier and put my furnace in for me, but I gotta make out my application and fax it in, so.
Okay, so,
Just so you know, the trailer that's that old is no longer eligible for conventional financing. So
Right.
the only people who can buy that would be somebody who doesn't need bank financing.
Right.
Most people who don't need bank financing
Don't
would
live in that
consider
trailer.
that as a place they would want to buy.
so you'll need to get that faxed in,
Oh, definitely,
because if you don't have heat,
yeah, they.
then
they
we're
work
gonna
on
have
the
an issue.
budget, So,
I already
so-
have all that.
So you need to be able to keep the water, and you need to be able to keep the sewer, and you need to be able to heat. We do not want to find your dead body in that trailer. So,
Or your son.
yes. So I would ask that the continuance be the first select board meeting of September.
Okay, so you guys will let me know when that meeting is, so I can come.
we'll communicate with them.
Yes,
I
yeah.
mean, Mary's been great. I mean, you know, she's worked with me and, you know, but I like her. Mary's
We'll
very-
send you a letter
Okay. You
outlines.
guys have my address and everything and phone number, I presume?
Yeah.
What? Yeah, Mary said maybe you guys could help me get, a dumpster. I feel that if I could get a dumpster, I could get this done, but when we got 9 trailers, we're allowed 5 guys a month. We're only, our garbage only picked up every 2 weeks, and you can't clean and put stuff out on the porch, and, you know, because if you do that, okay, let's say you use 2 bags, then you got 2 bags of regular house garbage, what are you gonna do with that after your 5?
So are you talking about a dumpster to forever or just to clean out?
Just to clean out.
Clean everything out?
There is a concern of harborage of rodents and pests
Okay.
to other people in the park as well because there is so much accumulated.
And I've been working on that, but it's like I
Yeah,
said,
but
it-
there has
it's mostly like clothes, old papers, you know, stuff like that, but I have been going through it, I feel that it would benefit this whole situation if I could get some of that cluster out of there.
So
Can we compel the park owner to,
well, yeah, let's let Mary and Heidi work on that and see how much we can get forward before we,
okay? If there's a health issue in the whole park, then that seems reasonable.
yeah, absolutely.
And maybe, Mr. Gahn might be able to clarify, but I believe that park is owned by the residents, correct?
It's a cooperative, I
It's a
don't know.
cooperative, so there's no side person that owns it.
Oh.
It's owned by the,
But the cooperative is an entity, and as far as I know, they've not been sending me a check as a member of the cooperative, so I think the cooperative is not, I think that's a cooperative in name only. I don't think that the park owners, I don't think that the mobile home owners also own the park in general, but
Oh, she owns a trailer in the park. So do you own it, or does the co-op own it with you, or how's that work?
You own your trailer, but basically the lot rent and all that stuff, you have to pay yourself. I don't know what they do with the money from the lot rent, but, cause you still have to pay your own taxes every year.
So Sharon, can we talk about the garbage removal in August meeting instead of September? So it sounds like it needs to be moved. If you got, you know, at this time of year, it can't smell very good.
in the wild
If,
6
like I
months
said,
ago.
if I can get a
The
dumpster
second
here, I can get that thing done. It's just a matter of,
there
it's
also.
frustrating
Same
because,
trailer
like I said,
Okay.
when you're only allowed that many bags, and they monitor you. They know when you've gone over that amount of bags.
Looks pretty.
How do we go about
It's frustrating,
clarifying
I can't
who
get to
owns
it. If I
it?
could get to it,
I
could
think
get
we
it out
need
of
to
it.
find out who pays the taxes on it.
The AMCO mobile home.
Yeah, and there's a
It's
park
a
manager.
cooperative.
I'm pretty
and-
sure that deed was signed by Rick Patterson.
Yeah, Ricky
live
Patterson
in the
is
park?
Not
contacted.
anymore.
Ricky
No?
and his
His
wife,
wife does.
Penny, she's, I guess, the president or something, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
She's
I
the one-
was the treasurer, but I got out of it. I
Because
was
the taxes
involved
on
in none of that.
the park are paid, correct? Oh, yeah, somebody paid.
Penny,
So, yeah.
Penny does that part of the trailer park, the collecting of the lot rent, stuff like that. Penny does that and sends it to Anco. That's her, that's what she does. But when Ricky was there, you know, Ricky made sure that, you know, everybody cleaned up their area, everybody did all their stuff, but Ricky moved out, so.
And then we had a lot of problems with our well with it. Like most of the time you turn on your faucet and it's just barely coming out.
There's not much pressure at all.
So,
I've done like that,
for a while.
yeah. Well, like I said, if I can get a dumpster, I'm very confident I can get this stuff out of there and start with a fresh, new place that doesn't have every little corner with something in it. Because before I became handicapped, I was working 3 jobs. Pay my rent, work 3 jobs, because I had 2 kids to raise, so I didn't have time to, you know, spring cleaning, clean out the closet, I didn't have time, so a lot of stuff been there 15, 20 years or better. So to be able to get to it and say, okay, I can put it in a bag and throw it in the dumpster as opposed to put it in the bag, set it on the porch, wait till dark, try to throw it in the dumpster, it's just, it ain't working.
There was a concern of the fire marshal as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff's been there as well. They put smoke detectors in my house. They're putting carbon monoxide detector in my home. Like I said, this was all stuff that, you know, is done. But I'm very happy to the fact that, you know, I'm getting ready, you know, I'm getting to have my own place, do my own deck, not having to worry about Mike Stell bringing the board or Mike Stell fixing, because earlier last year, the porch collapsed with me and my son on it. And at that point in time, Mike was supposedly my landlord. I called him and he came and put the porch back up and put one board. That's it, he left. I'm like, are you kidding me? 1 board? So I had to have somebody come and reinforce a little bit more. So even my ramp, I
So-
had to have that built. Howard wouldn't have it built for me, even though he was supposed to have it. He wouldn't do it, I had to do it myself.
So, Mary, you're gonna keep us informed about a dumpster and what's gonna happen and for in August, you guys bring it back to us in August and so.
Yep,
Yeah. So,
thank you.
Well, thank you guys for letting me talk. I appreciate it. I'm kind of nervous, but I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, so we are going to end that. We have motion seconded. Did we aye?
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, okay.
we did.
Lost track there for a minute. So he getting to me. Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Mary, thank you for all your hard work. You are definitely a blessing.
Yes, she is.
True.
Shelley, treasurer's updates.
When it comes to budgeting this season, that's one stipend I'd like to up. I think it's well deserved and underpaid at the moment.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So, where to start? It's been a month. Check warrant.
So did everybody have a chance to look at the check warrant? Any questions?
I didn't put a budget in front of you because I still have bills from last year coming in.
Okay.
So last year's not quite buttoned up yet. But our next meeting I'll have something for you for sure. I can say,
Okay, so in light of the budget, we do have new services in town. The Missisquoi Valley Rescue is back as our ambulance service. And St. Albans Police Department are our law enforcement contract. So that is a change to our budget. So I see MVR is already has their first payment.
yes.
So
Dispatch has been paid, but I actually had to call SAPD because it says the middle of July, I haven't seen anything yet. Do you want me to pay you? So.
Maybe it was free.
I think we're finally on their radar.
Okay. Great.
I'm sure we'll get a bill soon. Other than that, nothing else was too out of the ordinary. Just from having a month in between meetings, it's kind of large. While you're signing that, a quick update. Taxes, we still have $54,462.66 of delinquent taxes, but it's pretty low.
That's a hell of a job.
It's pretty low, and I mean, so there's 34 parcels that are still delinquent, 3 parcels are deceased, 2 you just heard about tonight. 17 of those 34 are on payment plans, and 14 are getting ready to go to tax sale. So,
Okay.
hopefully they come in and see me soon.
Sharon, don't you need a motion before you start signing them?
Sorry.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Told you, it's a heat getting to me.
It's gonna get worse.
I know.
Oh, at least she didn't have a checkbook in
Terrible
front of
this
her.
weekend.
There you go.
Okay, Butch went and got a rental grader this past weekend, which brings up field days. Butch usually grades field days, and I and Butch have discussed this and feel it's not appropriate to use a rental grader to grade the field days at this time. I know you were going to reach out to Swanton. Did you have any luck, or you haven't had a chance?
Waiting, the son is trying to, over Jack Grant has a.
Okay, so there are others
Right,
that can be used. Okay, so we will not ask permission for Butch to use our grader for field days. One more thing. Ty is here. Ty has gotten, the rec board has gotten some quotes on ad panels. They're protective layers on the outside, so we don't have to continually replace the boards, the advertisement boards. There are 3 quotes from the same. You want to step in?
Yeah,
I think
please.
you should, because I don't know what I'm talking about.
So there's 3 quotes on the same from the same company, Athletica. They're the ones who made our hockey boards that were installed in 2015. One quote is for 36 ad panels with so it would go from what we currently have for advertisers on the boards. These are pre-drilled, they're made to go right on our boards and not a generic one. But they got the openings that we have. They're pre-drilled, so it's just pretty much plug and play with these. That quote is what we're asking for approval for. Spend, it's $53.53 and 0 cents. There's one that's for 46, it's the same plug and play system for 46 panels. This would be for us to expand on our advertising. That was for $6,440. That includes the shipping. The first one does too. We felt that was just too much with our budget currently, with not having the advertising to cover them. And then there's one for the 46 panels that we would have to cut around the corners, drill holes and countersink, and it's just something that we didn't feel that we could get done with in a timely manner or done at all.
So the rec commission is requesting an approval for the 53.
Yes, $5,353.00.
Okay. Do we have budget for that?
They have enough money to support that, yes.
Okay.
The other, we did get another company that it was about equal to what the Athletica was for the ones that we have to cut and do the work ourselves through Becker. But we, like I said, we didn't feel that we had the ability to get it done. We wanted to get it done before the Whitetails banquet.
Yeah.
There's potential for a lot of our vendors that advertise at the rink to be at the banquet.
Yeah.
Some of their signs don't look the prettiest, and there's no point buying a new vinyl adhesive sign if we can buy a banner sign and put it behind that.
So you've got, you and some of the other fellows would install these yourself?
Correct. Dan's rec director would be part of it. It would, yes. If it's not cutting and routing and countersinking,
no,
it's something that we could, the labor could be done ourselves.
Yeah, because Athletica did your original boards, right? Because they have all the pattern and everything?
Yes, so the current boards that are there, yes.
Right.
This is just I believe it's a 1/8 polycarbonate, clear polycarbonate sheet that goes over the top of what's there currently.
How much more advertising would the higher quote get you?
Potential of 10 spots.
10. So that was $1,200 more or so?
$53.53, and the higher one was $64.40.
Yeah, so about $1,100. We feel there's currently, I believe, 5 advertisers that are renewing. Some of them are on the wall, and some are on the boards. We feel this year, with those spots, we could, have room to continue to find new vendors and not have to look to fill those 10 spots extra. And then, next budget season, if we have found some vendors that would like to advertise, we can pursue that.
So, okay, I guess you don't have a waiting list for
not currently, no.
People.
But we're not knocking on doors as hard as we can. We will be, but.
Yeah, and they have other advertising opportunities, both on the Zamboni and on their website. So they have,
the t-shirts are for the program.
right. So they have some opportunity to gather some more advertisers in a little bit different venue than just.
Well, 10 spots is not a big increase, and there's more years and more activities coming. So,
but
I was just curious. So we need to move to approve
Yes.
this recommendation?
Yeah.
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second it.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay.
I think we'll work on getting that
We'll get that
ordered next week.
Okay.
Okay.
One more thing, Scott Martin resigned from the Development Review Board. I'm not sure if you've heard. He has put a request in writing that he would like to purchase the iPad he was issued from the town.
Oh.
So, just putting it out there, we can talk about it later. Or you can make a decision now.
Do you want to buy this one?
You can have mine.
Okay.
What's the iPad policy say, Shelley? We pulled that up. Do you have it?
It doesn't state anything about them wanting to purchase it, but if something was to happen to it, they have to make good on it, basically. So, I guess if he told us it was broken, we would ask him to make good.
Pay for it anyway.
And he,
I don't know. How much are we talking for a fee?
if it's not Black Friday.
Yeah.
I haven't looked them up in years. I would say between $300 and $400. I'm just guesstimating.
Okay, so can we get back to you on that?
Yes. Yes,
And-
I said I would bring it forward.
Yeah, because we of course would need a additional iPad for that position.
I think his thought was he's going to purchase and bring us an iPad, not necessarily the one he was issued. That's my understanding.
Oh.
And that is the way I would prefer it, because I don't want to be,
Right, I'm fine with
we're
that.
not a store.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't know how the others feel, but
Well, it's okay. No, I don't like,
Richard wants to know if he wants to buy a couple more.
yeah.
I'm sure.
I think I'm gonna bring mine back before I bust it. So I'll pay for it.
Randy likes his iPads, but I prefer an Android.
Well,
Okay,
maybe
so-
we can have him buy an Android
There you go.
and swap you out. A
Okay,
tablet's a
yeah.
tablet.
So do I have a motion to table, yes or no?
Table it. I'll make a motion to table it.
All right,
Till when? I'd second, but
Next meeting.
okay.
Okay, moving on.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
The last meeting we had, a motion was made to order computers.
yes.
That will not be happening.
Oh,
Why not?
okay.
If it is going to go out to bid anyway, he would prefer not to start the job. Make it out to bid, bring it out to bid, and whoever gets the bid will be replacing the town's computers. But he's not going to start something and then have the potential of having it given away.
I will make a comment off camera.
Okay, so, in light of that though,
Yeah, I got some questions on that.
okay, all of our malware, our antivirus is due.
Okay.
So there is an invoice here. Normally he would have just charged us and renewed it, but it is $490. He asked that I bring it in front of the board for approval first. Obviously, we do not want to be without antivirus. He said especially the library, the public that uses their computers are into sites that they probably shouldn't be. So do I have
a motion to accept Mr. Bouchard's quote of $490 some odd dollars for our
antivirus?
Antivirus
1-year
software.
subscription for the townwide.
No, I want to get this settled. I'm sick of it. I want to get this settled and move on.
Okay.
I want, we need executive session later. Sick of it. let's move on. Get your computers and move on. This bidding stuff and they ain't even here. Okay? Jeez.
I'm not disagreeing.
I'm having
No,
enough
but
of
you
them.
got one on this side and one on this side, Richard. You know, you understand what's happening.
Yeah, but
But yes, I agree. It's ridiculous. But we will have that conversation privately in executive, so if you would mind staying for a few moments in
Okay.
executive.
Will do. So, we'll table that.
Yes, please.
And then, Butch has brought, just very in preliminary stages of replacing the, one of the tandems. So, just to put it on the plate, they're looking, not gonna discuss it tonight at all, but just keep in your head that they are looking, and there's possibility that they could get a deal in this fiscal year to replace that. It is set for a 2020 replacement, so. Anyone have anything to add to that? Not tonight? Okay. Okay, that's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Wendy, town clerk updates.
You got 3 sets of minutes, because we like to have meetings.
Hot diggity dog we do.
June 20, June 26, June 28.
Okay,
Do you want them done separately?
yeah, let's do them separately just for giggles.
June 20 was your regular meeting.
I move to accept the minutes of June 20th, 2019.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Wednesday, June 26th was a special meeting about the computers.
Too soon.
Yeah, a little raw there.
There was what, the June?
26th, it was Sharon, Randy, and Richard were there.
Yeah.
It was the special meeting you had about the computers.
So
And then
Richard-
you did a site visit over at the Village Core property.
Okay.
Can we do it because we don't have three that were here?
2 of the 3 are here. Yes?
Okay, all right. Richard, I make a motion. You seconding it?
I'll second it.
Hot dog. All those in favor say aye? Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
And
then
I don't
this-
count.
not in that one.
June 28th was your emergency meeting about the grader. And that was Sharon, Bruce, and Josh.
How come I didn't hear about that one?
Oh, I don't know, where were
It was
you?
on a Friday morning at 8:15.
Oh, I was working.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
So Sharon was on the phone, Bruce and Josh were here, so.
Okay, I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes of June 28th.
Second.
All the in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Okay, that takes care of that. Here, Heidi, can you grab these for signature, please? Really quick, 'cause this agenda is haunting. Quick dog license update, we are at 874
wow.
on the books. We are down to 11 dog owners. So Bonnie has the list, she has the
Whoops.
the letters, the warrant. She's gonna be knocking on some doors this next week before we issue the 3rd round of fines. So we're down to 11 dog owners, maybe 20 dogs. So that'll about run us out of tax because I only have 900.
Okay.
We do have an open seat on the development review board. Shelley mentioned that Scott Martin had to step down, and I thank Scott for the time he spent on that
Yes.
board. He was about halfway through his 2nd term, so if anybody's interested in joining the development review board, it is a commitment of 1 meeting a month. There is a small per meeting stipend that is paid annually at the end of the year, and you would be filling the remainder of Scott's 3-year term through March of 2021. So give us a call if you're interested. And I have a proposed road name form for approval. This has a little story to it. This was actually a subdivision approved back in 2009. The property has changed hands 3 times since then. It's referenced in all the minutes and everything as Fox Den Road, but we can't find where this form was ever done.
Oh.
Now the first driveway permit is being requested as, and they've got it listed as Foxden Road as well. But we can't find where this is ever approved because it's not on our road list. So we need to go through this formality. So it's off of Hannah Road, it's a 5-lot subdivision.
Okay, so do we have any questions? And do I have a motion? This is a private road at this point.
So moved.
Richard, do you second?
Yeah.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Perfect. And I think, other than Jerry, how are the concerts in the park going? You had concerts in the park? Have you been at the concerts in our park? You have not. Okay. Well, they're Sundays. This Sunday, July 21st at 7 p.m. It is Vermont Bluegrass Pioneers with Banjo Dan. So far, they've had good weather on Sunday, so hopefully that continues. It's free at 7 p.m. right here in the town park. And that is it for me.
So yes, and the select board would also like to thank Scott Martin. The DVR is a thankless job. A lot of times you're somebody's enemy, but it is a necessary part of our governmental process. So if you have an interest in what develops in town, by all means, give a holler.
Develops. Pun.
Yeah.
Just to, we were talking about the dogs, and I was over there today. There's 2 rabid fox over on Breton Road. And the Bonnie Rainville, Roger Rainville have contacted the state police and the game warden, but as of yet, they hadn't got there. That fox was within 10 feet of her steps. He wouldn't let it, couldn't get out the door this morning.
Who's doing it?
Breton, excuse me, on the Breton Road, Roger and Bonnie Noel. There's 2 rabid fox that are in the culvert. She's got pictures of them on her phone. It stopped her from going out of her house this morning. They have contacted the game warden, but they haven't shown up yet.
So I know that most of the time the game warden will tell you to shoot the animal and bury it and tell them.
Well, they haven't told that to that party.
Okay.
The fact is they told them back off.
Yeah, I think they
Really?
test it, don't they?
Yeah, you shoot them and, you gotta shoot them and get their brain samples to know if they're rabid or not. But they're not acting scared at all. She's got pictures of them. And there was dog poop within 10 feet of the steps.
No.
That, you know, because they have no dogs.
Okay.
And
So
they're
yeah.
hiding in the culvert.
Yeah, if they're not prepared to shoot it, then yeah, they need to be aware and stay away from them. Absolutely.
Because I went down there this morning and I would have had to do a shot through a culvert and then I'm good, I'm not that good.
No. Okay.
Well, that's the thing.
So Heidi, can you reach out to the game warden as well tomorrow and see, to make sure that they have received that message loud and clear?
It could be a health problem.
Absolutely, we don't need any rabies
I believe there was
victims.
a woman in either Georgia or Milton that was busy this year already.
Yeah.
Foxes are close, very close to the houses this year. Very
Yeah.
close.
Well, of course, as we encroach more and more on their territories too, that happens, but one that's unafraid is not a good sign. Okay, Heidi.
All right. Crosswalks, I put an update in there. I should have some more information for you on that next meeting.
Okay.
Well, it did seem like quite a bit of back and forth with the contractor. I mean, is your feeling that he's really gonna do something, or?
I think that the last information that came from the state about what makes it flake off, and that it was purely the preparation of the site.
Yeah.
And I forwarded that. It said that we were probably going to be chatting with our attorney about it. He said he would talk to his boss one more time, so I'll wait.
Yeah, okay.
We'll see. So the transfer station slide, we need to talk about that.
Hey, you're talking about crosswalk paint. Did anybody I know it was mentioned, painting the lines up Gore Road, and we're gonna do some paving. Somebody wanna explain to me what's going on with that? We're gonna pave, and about 2 or 3 weeks ago on a Saturday or Sunday, they put the lines up the road.
I wish you would have asked when Jim was here, because they contact us early in the year and they say, let us know what you're gonna pave, because we want to coordinate striping, and they came anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I think they had year-end money to,
Yeah.
a little bit of OT.
Okay, so that, now, how much of that do we pay, or?
I don't think we pay anything for that.
Yeah,
They just
that was
do
the
it.
state,
But
yeah.
they are unlikely to come back.
Well, our money.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we don't pay it, but once we pay, we're gonna need that redone, aren't we?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Richard, I wish we would have thought of that before. That's a good question.
I've seen it done with center lines too, they put them down, they take over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my question is, how long are they gonna be? Okay, we're gonna pave sometime in August, some of the Gore Road, how, are they gonna come back out and do it? Is it gonna be that way all winter?
No, I
I'll
think
bet it's next
you
year.
have to take care of it.
Oh, they have to take care of it?
Oh, yeah, safety. So well. They have to. We're gonna try.
Yeah.
Okay. Keep me in touch on that, I'd like to know what.
Okay, will do. So there's some pictures in your packet. There was another slide. I did reach out to GW Tatro, said he was gonna stop by this week, but I haven't seen him, so. The drainage system that was established there is not functioning right now, so.
What does FEMA have to say about this, since our geodesign was based on using that existing structure? Do they have any input into this? Have we contacted them? Is there any recourse for that besides GW Tatro? And what about Casella? Can we get them to help us?
That's possible.
Wonder if we can get them to help us get that back up to standard so that we can continue on with our project.
So Geodesign has come to the end of their project, so there's no more funding in that original design money.
Right.
So what we would have to do is get some kind of an extension from FEMA to look at that a little further.
Right.
But in the meanwhile, the system isn't working.
Right.
So, did somebody sign off on Tatro's work when it was done?
Yeah, that was many years ago.
Long time.
It was 2013. So we worked directly with GW Tatro. It was a design build.
Oh,
They
okay.
gave us the design. We didn't pay a separate design firm to come up with something. So,
Well, I think if there are no funds available, if FEMA's not copping to that, then maybe we need to reach out to Casella and see if they might be willing to do some in-kind to help, since we know that they were not too happy about the idea of any cash money. Maybe they'd be a little more forthcoming with some in-kind work to help establish that again, or at least to fix it enough so that it works. They have the equipment, you know. Even if we have to pay Geodesign or whomever to, you know, do the stopgap measure to put that back in place again so we can keep moving forward.
and on that same note, so Geodesign is at the end of their design, so they want to present that to the town. So I'll probably schedule them on one of your next meetings coming up so that you can have that chat. We can chat about this and maybe we'll have some further ideas come out of that.
Okay.
Okay. Just another reminder that the Village Core Master Plan Community Celebration is August 17th. And Steve is on that committee, as well as Richard and
Woody.
Sue and Woody and Sharon. And even Richard's gotten involved in that too. So we're right now looking for vendors. We have spots for 20 vendors, and we'll be putting more information out for the public for a full day of events, barbecue and music and entertainment for kids, Mike in the Big Blue Truck, Vermont Hula Hoop.
Are we putting up a for sale sign now too?
Sure.
I want a for sale sign.
Put one right on the window.
Have a price ready to
Yeah.
go.
And I heard there's gonna be a petting zoo
Yeah.
also, so.
And I'll bring my friends.
And Richard, thank you for the mowing. Looks very nice over
I
there.
told the committee I'd keep mowing till after the event.
Yep.
Wow, we bumped you up. That's
Yeah.
good.
No, I bumped me up.
He bumped himself.
You did.
Is
Because
that
I really
okay?
did go back in the brush, period.
Very good.
And I got a lot of old pictures, and Sue's gonna have some pictures
Well,
that we
thank
can
you,
put up
Richard.
in the building.
Great, great.
I'm not hooked to that one.
What I've done is I've contacted some of the bus drivers, like Mary LaRush. That's a third generation because Gerard drove bus, Mary and Royale drove bus. I've got in touch with Beth Beor, which Clyde Beor was the oldest bus driver. She's given me some pictures. I have contacted her. I have contacted, my Aunt Doris. One of the bus drivers was called Tut Tut, and it was Tut Tut Gagne, which was Leo Gagne. I'm trying to get a picture of him, and then I can put Tut Tut. I have contacted, one that Woody reminded me of was Mr. Bard. I will get a hold of Doug, his son lives in Elbert.
Henry Bangy.
Henry Bainey, I'm working on that one, so I've got a list.
Harvey Bushy?
Harvey Bushy.
Yeah, Harvey Bushy. He had the Gore Road,
Yeah.
Tart Road.
His son Roger's on there.
Yeah.
Roger, okay. I mean, I'm just trying to, and I am working on that. There's one thing I do want to donate. When I was going through my brother's stuff, I have got my brother's original Little League t-shirt. He's 55 years old, and after I'm done with it, I want to put it in a shadow box and put it at the Highgate Historical Society in memory of my brother Mike.
Very nice.
Yep.
It's great.
I'm working on that, and I am working on pictures.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be something interesting to see. The fire department is going to be serving lunch. All proceeds from the fire department lunch are going to the expansion of the memorial out here. They have graciously donated their proceeds. So come out, support a good cause, learn a little bit more about your history, and check out the property and meet your neighbors.
Maybe they wanna buy it.
That's right.
That's
There you go,
right.
Richard.
Remember, Steve, you're in charge of the sign.
On that connected note, I did put a draft request for qualifications for the engineering work for the wastewater study. We're gonna start working on that and get an engineer signed up. I have a Department of Correction labor contract for you. They want you to enter into another annual contract, so when something comes up, we can just call them to show up. They did clean the property up for us one day.
They did a nice job, Sue did too when they were.
It was a big help,
I
for
will,
sure.
I will say the rec has used the work crews as well and has worked out fabulous, I think, both for corrections and for the town of Highgate.
Yeah, we just signed our yearly one for over to the rest.
Yeah, I think they've done a very good job, very well monitored, and really a help to our community.
So, move to approve?
Okay, Richard, one second.
Move to approve the contract.
Okay, yeah,
Corrections workers.
yeah, I'll approve.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay.
Now, while you're on that, with cleaning up, I know Woody said there were some kids that helped out a lot from school. Was there any thank yous or anything done for those kids that come and volunteered?
A lot
Or
more thanked personally by us. And the art kids, there was 9 of them.
Yeah,
So they all went over, and bought all 9 of them a slushie
okay.
over Urban Forum. And I told them that was appreciation for them coming over doing the artwork.
We've signed a letter, the whole committee has signed a letter for everyone who's donated anything, but we sent them some pictures, because we had a nice group picture and a picture of them in front of their mural, and we sent that and sent it to Mr. Hartman, because he's the one that got us connected with them and the art teachers and Alyssa.
So is the other mural done? Or I ain't figured that one out yet. Is it not done or?
No.
It's not done? I looked at it and I couldn't figure out what it was.
They're flowers.
Oh, okay. I thought it was some kind of fire.
Make it kind of stuff.
They got a little bit of time left, I guess.
Okay.
Under a month.
We should have also snagged Jim Cota when he was here. You have new bridge, road and bridge standards in there. They are very much in line with the municipal roads general permit now, which is your standard for your required repairs each year. So it's a little different than the one you had before. Hopefully you all had a chance to look at it. So if the town wants to adopt these, you have to sign on the back. And when I say if you want them, just know that your funding has strings attached. Your AOT funding. So when we file grant applications with the state, we have to say that we have adopted standards.
So in other words, if you want any money from the state, you vote yes to sign it.
It seemed to me like pretty much a done deal.
Yeah.
Okay, I move to accept.
Richard?
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Richard?
Yeah.
Say aye.
Oh, aye.
Thank you.
Helping you along.
Okay, I need help.
So I also have the 2 contracts that we're entering into for our airport infrastructure study. One is with an engineering firm and the other is with an economist. Those are the draft contracts. Right now they're with Ed Adrian, and he has to fine tune them and then give a legal opinion. As a requirement, one of the award conditions is that he would review the contracts and give his opinion. So they're not complete, so I'm asking you just to approve me to sign them after Ed has reviewed them and we're ready to move forward.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
What's that again? That's
for the airport infrastructure. So that's to have a study to see whether bringing water and possibly sewage.
I thought we did that once already. I thought we okayed something there, not, a couple months back, we okayed something.
You okayed the grant, so there will be several okays required for this.
Yeah.
So I, as your administrator, don't sign any contracts without your permission. So you signed a grant contract, and then to subcontract those out, we went through a bid process, we went through interviews, and we selected a firm, 2 firms to work together. And so right now, you have the contract in front of you for $27,500 to Aldrich and Elliott Engineering. And you also have the contract for $24,500, and that's to Economics and Policy Resources to do the economic evaluation.
That's just to go through and make sure it's okay to do it and,
That's to tell you what the economic
Liability,
impact
yeah.
could be if you extended water. So the assessment is to say, if the town was to invest in infrastructure to the airport, what would that mean? Would it stimulate your economy? Would it be likely to bring business to the airport? And it's in conjunction with the adjoining property owner who is proposing a 7-lot commercial park.
okay, so has that land been sold up at the airport?
Sorry, what land been sold?
Well, is that part of it where Handy's owned by the school and all that? Is that?
No, isn't it Handy doing it?
Yeah, that's
Handy's doing the stuff.
That's
separate.
something separate.
Right.
That's separate.
So,
That's separate.
okay, that's separate. This is, who's doing this?
So airport sand and fill borders the airport, and it's an exhausted sand pit, so now they would like to develop it.
Okay, so the airport owns that sand pit?
No.
No.
It
So,
is,
Owned by who?
sorry.
Jim
So-
Harrison.
Jim Harrison owns the sand pit. He would like to develop the land to be warehousing.
Yeah,
The airport
yeah.
is owned by the state, and they would like to expand the airport to
why-
include bigger.
Now you guys are, why are we putting all money in for everybody else?
We aren't.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you just told me you had a $27,000 grant.
Yes. So the two towns, Highgate and Swanton, are doing this as a joint venture, just like Franklin and
Yeah,
Highgate
yeah.
did it for the road, the hand
Yeah.
road. So they're working with the Coys, who lease the airport, and the state, and the economic development, regional economic development. Everybody's working together to see if they can expand not only the airport, but the economics of our region by putting some more commercial property in play.
So those are all funded with a grant.
Yeah.
So this is an economic development grant because the state believes that if we create infrastructure, we make those properties.
Infrastructure, oh, you mean more, if we
Water.
create more water, it's
Right.
gonna bring in more stuff. It's supposed to help us in the long run.
Correct.
Okay.
So, and the town didn't put any cash into this. Franklin County Industrial Development put up $1,000 of match funds and airport sand and fill. The Harrison company put in the balance.
So this grant, we don't have to pay none back or match in or nothing like
You're
that?
using my hours as match, and the money, the Harrisons put in $9,000 of match funds, and FCIDC covered the balance, so.
Okay.
So it's an excellent opportunity to look at it and say, does it make sense? Is it worth it for the town of Highgate to do it? Then you'll have that answer, and then you can say yes or no, it makes sense.
Okay.
And the state has invested in the airport as far as perimeter fencing. They
Yeah.
got a grant from the state to do that. And it was announced in the Free Press as the Franklin County Airport in Swanton. And I corrected.
It's not Swanton.
Ouch.
I corrected it.
Good.
Ouch, that hurts.
It's Highgate.
And I also said MVU's in Highgate,
Yeah,
the dams in Highgate.
yeah. Okay, I think I understand you.
And it's all timed with the state planned expansion of the airport to extend the runway to take cargo planes. Then there will be a likelihood of a need for warehousing and light manufacturing.
Okay.
So are we moving to approve the contracts or moving to authorize town administrator to sign?
we're authorizing the town administrator to sign upon the approval of our lawyer for the contract for the economic
Okay.
contractor and the engineer.
I just feel, maybe I'm over, I just feel that our chairman, our chairwoman should sign, because I think, I don't know, I have more feeling that I think you need to sign when it's, so if there's any questions or anything, you'll be there to answer them. I think it needs to be you. That's my feeling, you know, I just feel, I'm not very familiar with this, but I want to, if the lawyer says, has anything, I think you need to hear it. If he's got something to say that's wrong or something, I think you need to hear it. You know, that's probably one of the reasons why you're the chairwoman. You know, I just don't want to pass everything on to somebody else. Maybe that's the way it's supposed to be, but I just think you need to, that's my feeling, but.
Okay. Bruce?
I don't disagree. I don't have any problem with doing the having the contracts finalized either way.
Okay.
I make a motion that Sharon signs it when the lawyer gets it done and Sharon talks to the lawyer.
Okay, I'll support you. I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Okay. Just shoot me an email and then pop down and.
Okay, that is totally fine, that works very well, but just know that there won't be any problems that aren't resolved. So he's going to create the details in the contract. That
Well, I understand that, lady, but there's always something.
No, I don't have any problem with that.
When
Richard,
I own you're like, I'm gonna put you as a fireman. You're like the hired man, okay? And she's like the owner. And I don't leave everything up to the hired man. Yeah, I might some things, but there's times that I want the owner to take responsibility. Now, that's what I'm saying.
That makes perfect
Okay.
sense. I don't have any problem with
Okay.
that, Richard.
Okay, well, you just said,
So-
you know, I just want to make you
I
understand.
just want you to know the attorney is gonna be fixing the contract, so Sharon can sign, that's no problem.
But
There
just in
won't
case
be-
something, there might be
Right.
something come up, we don't know.
True.
You know, you never know
True.
with these attorneys.
But that's why I'm putting all of this stuff in a packet for you, so that you
Okay.
see it all. You are the deciding board, you make those decisions, and there isn't gonna be any contract signed without you approving it.
Right.
So, okay, we're all done with that?
Can I just say something?
Absolutely.
Richard, thank you for asking questions and getting yourself up to speed on something that you don't understand. I'd rather see a 15-minute discussion than just say yes.
There's gonna be a lot of that talk.
It's
You don't have to encourage it.
There are a
to
lot
learn.
of things going on and a lot of things that we're already in mid-swing, so it's hard to catch up.
Yeah, you walk
It
into
is.
something that's already.
Absolutely.
It is very hard.
Good question, definitely.
Now you're beginning to understand why it's going slow over there.
Slow and steady.
We're in a race, jumping hurdles.
Yeah, we had to teach Steve that too.
Yeah.
Hey, don't get started.
He's good. So I think the only other thing that I wanted to mention is that Rise VT is organizing another very nice event, and they are pulling the governor to come back to those same towns that Mark Fenton, the walking expert, was here, and the governor is going to get on his bike and ride around those 3 cities. And he's coming to Highgate on August 10th.
Wow.
So, they're gonna start in St. Albans, go down to the Bay Park, then they're gonna go to Swanton, and they will arrive in Highgate 11:15 if they're on schedule. And this is the route they'll be taking. So,
Oh, they are gonna write it all?
yep.
Well, my gosh.
So everyone is invited to be here. He wants to come and see the village core and the sidewalks and say hello to Highgate.
August 10th?
August 10th, so too bad it wasn't the next weekend, huh? Yes, it's a Saturday.
Well, if we can somehow convince him to look at the Memorial Valley Rail Trail.
Right?
Pass through.
Okay.
I hope it's
Great
not
idea.
95 degrees.
I understand that they're applying for permitting this year.
Yeah, we've been
Yeah, I know.
talking to them, and they're lacking a lot of funding from Swanton to Shelby.
It's been there and it's been taken away
Yeah.
twice.
Oh.
They started it,
Mm-hmm.
was that 3 years ago?
Mm-hmm. Well, someone said they did start the section past Sheldon.
Yeah.
So a biker came in and said that part has been done. So,
Yeah, they fixed the bridge. It's closer, but I don't know why they didn't finish what they started, but
well, I think Ty has come up with a great idea. Like, we definitely need to get him on the rail trail. So, we can do whatever we want when he's here, whatever, open to any ideas. And just that, for the September 5th meeting, your representatives, Sharon Fagard and Lisa Hango, will be coming in. And they just had a really interesting meeting in Richford talking about housing and some of the things we were just touching on tonight. So it's really timely. You'll be wrapping up your case with the Anco Park and talking about that. So that'll be a really useful conversation.
And we encourage people, get out and see your governor. He works for you. You voted him in. If you got something to say, you got a problem, you talk to the man. He's no different than the rest of us. Same thing with your representatives. They're here working for you. If you got a question for them, bring it up. If you think something should be changed, bring it up. They work for you. They put their pants on the same way you do. Don't be shy. Say what you need to say. That's the only way you make things happen. The only way things get changed is people are involved in their community.
Well said. So, to the select board now.
Okay, frontage road culvert project bids. Woohoo!
There you go. You got several. That folder right there, and there's scissors if you want.
All right. No sense being a hog. You boys might as well open some too.
She only gave us 3.
Okay,
So,
I'm the younger one, no. I'll do one.
So this is for a big box culvert replacement on Frontage Road on, I think it's Youngman Brook.
this one's sealed up.
Do you want scissors?
What, that's that?
I think somebody glued this to the...
Okay, so our first bid Engineers Construction, Inc., known as ECI. Project bid of $221,000 even. Construction work during 2019. Proposal includes replacement of bituminous pavement over the proposed culvert. They do have their insurance certificate.
Culvert and paving included, correct?
Paving was really not in the
Well, it
RFP,
says-
but it
that's
did,
what
they
that-
did say it.
Yeah, it said it was,
I-
it was unclear that bituminous paving was required. This proposal includes the replacement of bituminous pavement over the proposed culvert. And if
This one
I'm-
here has that, has
if
I think you
I'm,
got one more that has it too.
backfill, seed, mulch, and pave.
Okay, second bid. J.H. Hutchins, Inc. They have their insurance. Total project cost, $194,000 even.
Is that apples for apples, that include pavement?
Pavement and line stripping can be offered for an additional cost of $19,775. Any monetary credit for use of town forces can be negotiated. And it is not included in the scope, the allowance for winter conditions. Okay, third bid. From Blow and Cody. They have their insurance. Per the RFP release 6/18/19, we offer the following lump sum price, $164,000 even.
Repeat it.
Does not say anything about paving, but if it was not included in the RFP, I would say that that was not to be considered as part of that bid.
Right.
No insurance certificate.
Okay, so number 4, DeRocher's Construction Services. Their bid is $315,000 even for design, supply, and installation of a box culvert as requested in your RFP. Theirs does include roadway pavement restoration and erosion controls during construction and until adequate vegetation is restored.
And Bruce was saying there's no insurance.
There is no insurance.
So that bid basically is
Dead in the water.
dead in the water.
Absolutely.
That is pretty high.
Again, no insurance certificate.
Okay, so this is Goodhue Excavation. Design, permits, install culvert, supply all materials, backfill, seed, mulch, and pave. $129,455. This one might not have insurance because he has insurance on file, I would assume, since we just used him for Mill
That's
Hill.
true.
Okay, so.
Yeah,
So he
me
does have
too.
insurance.
He
coverage,
does have
Yeah.
insurance with the town,
And it's on file.
yes.
Yeah, he just
He
gave
just
us
barely
the
did that.
certificate.
So he's done work for us before then?
Yeah, he just did Mill Hill,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
so we
that's
have
true.
his insurance.
But
Was he compliant with everything on Mental Health?
Yes.
Yep, yeah, Jim Smith came back, said it looked great.
he also did a culvert a few years ago on the Tart Road.
Yes, and he did one on Maury, yeah.
Yes.
So you need a motion?
Well, First, I would say, in all fairness, is it possible that we have an insurance on file for DeRoche's construction services?
Not a current one. They haven't worked for us in a while. I'm sure they have insurance. They're just neglected to include it.
Okay,
So, and just for information, that is a $175,000 grant with a 20% match.
okay, so for an overview, your bids in order of price, your lowest being Goodhue Excavation for $129,455, which does include the paving.
It does.
It says
It
mulch
does.
and pave.
And paved.
Second would be Blow and Cody for $164,000, no paving. J. Hutchins, $194,000 even, without paving.
213 with paving.
Correct. ECI, Engineers Construction, $221,000 with paving. And the most expensive being $315,000. Road pavement restoration, so I would say paving included from DeRoche's Construction Services, Inc., and they are out of Jeffersonville. So, do we have any questions or concerns about the bids here?
Butch, what was your level of satisfaction with Goodhue?
Who was satisfied? That was their, this was a 2-year project, I think, that they had to do, or?
They have this construction season and next construction season. It's due December 2020. We'd have to be closed out by then.
Okay, any issues with Goodhue Construction that, or Goodhue Excavation that would bother you or need discussing further?
Okay, I make a motion that we accept Goodhue's construction.
Okay, at $129,455 to be completed by December 2020. Do we have a
Second that.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Goodhue can be contacted. Thank you, everyone, for putting in your bids.
I just want to comment on that for future ones. I like one of the bids that stated that they would have erosion control until adequate vegetation could resume. I think it's something to include in future projects.
Yes.
Mulch is mulch, but erosion control is something completely different, and it's something that can save us going back to fix something before some vegetation can grow.
Okay.
We also
Bollard bids.
only received one.
Okay.
That is from the company that is here doing the ADA construction.
Okay, so bollards, for those of you who do not know, are those yellow concrete posts that keep Butch from running into the building.
Well, you can't blame it just on wood, can you?
No, Nick hit it too.
I think they all have turned. Let's
Yeah,
put it all
I'd say.
together there. You want to put it all in Butch?
Yes. Well, we have to harass them sometime. Okay, so Millbrook Building and Remodeling has put in a bid. They have their insurance. Agrees to perform the work described for the sum of $33,500. That being public works section for $16,750 and the fire station section for $16,750. This was calculated for 32 bollards. And so that's $1,046.88 a bollard.
Give any specs on the bollards?
No, but we had it in our RFP.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right.
We put it, you have it in your packet,
Yeah.
but he did say those are really big bollards. He said if you wanted to go a size smaller, they could go something less.
So, Shelley, my question would be,
We budgeted 10,000. I also thought, well, we only budgeted for
right, at this time.
the highway department.
I thought we weren't gonna do the fire department right now. And I
Right.
thought that's what,
Yes.
so,
So what are our thoughts on that? That would mean that we would need to come up with an additional $67.50.
Where do you have funding?
They
We
set
budgeted
aside
10
That
for
was-
bollards this fiscal year.
So that'll do about 8.
Unless they go a size smaller.
how much was it if it was size smaller?
There is no
And
bid
there's
for a
no
size
price.
smaller.
But he said those were 8-inch, they're big.
Yeah, it's big.
So you could downsize it a little bit.
You could also get $70, $80 concrete blocks too. They hit that in.
True.
Brick building.
Under that high?
Put them on the end, they're about 4 feet long.
So, Butch, what are your thoughts?
We looked at Fairfields today. Jim Smith did the design. He had gone to Fairfields, so we were going by today, and we looked at Fairfields, and they have them inside and out. And they have the 8-inch steel. I believe theirs were a precast, the base of them was 2 feet by 2 feet concrete. And, you know, they did it before construction.
Right.
So it don't look like it was, you know, was all incorporated in the construction, but ours will have to be cut inside and out.
Right.
And the problem with the 2-foot base is, you know, it's gonna put it away from the building a little bit further than what it was like. Theirs, Fairfield was like 8 inches from the building, which, you know, they're on the edge of the doors, both inside and out, and it really looks good. It's no inconvenience them at all, and it works, you know, because they've dinged them.
Yeah.
How much extra protection do the inside bollards really
Backing
add?
out,
Mike,
And
they're
your
going
wing.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Done
okay.
that.
Yeah.
your wing is down,
What?
stops you. It's happened both ways, going in and coming out.
And I
So-
think that what we discovered each time was that those piers were not well made. They're not, so each time we've been kind of lucky that it was a simple fix. You
Right.
could really have had
Right.
some bad damage because there wasn't much support in any of the piers.
How would they go about on the inside though? They drill through cement for it?
You have to cut it big.
That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And then where they'd be cutting would be the footing of the building, right?
Well, if they were in 6 inches.
You'd have to get
Now,
out.
with the 2-foot, that's
said
what
they
Jim
were
did, when
close.
we looked at the plans of the building, you know, where is that foot?
Right, where
Right.
is that footing?
do they go down just to the footing and set, you know, on the footing too?
And if it's as packed as the fire department floor is, we're screwed.
Yeah, because we gotta put a lot into that, and you probably should have integrated that with it.
Yeah.
Never thought of it.
That end of the building is more in the sand. This end of
Yeah.
the building was more on top of the other building.
Well, over here, they don't have wings to drop. In here, we got wings to drop, to come in and out, and that's kind of where your problem is. More important here to start, because it would definitely be on that end. When you're in a hurry to go out, where it drops, you know, when you went straight out.
If you've only budgeted $10,000,
And then
There.
you're $6,000 over. I see at least two more things on the select board's agenda tonight that money for
Right.
that department. I think we need to look into a different option. I agree that we need to protect those door openings, protect your guys. I completely support the Public Works Department, but, I mean, money's money, and if we can get another bid for the smaller ones, see if it's in that budget, or regular 6-inch or 8-inch pipe and core drill and pound them in ourselves and fill them with concrete. I mean, we don't have to do a great job, we just have to do.
Yeah. The other option is to do the outside ones this year and the inside ones
That's
next
what we
year.
budgeted for.
Yeah.
So we budgeted for 10, and
Yeah,
so
right.
that's right on the money. They're about 1,000 apiece.
Right.
Right. I agree with that.
We budgeted,
Originally, when we talked about it.
so it must have been 10 on the outside. I don't know how many go on the outside.
Oh,
How many doors? Four doors.
4 doors,
Eight.
so
Eight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Should be 8.
This is a sketch.
So we have enough to do what we budgeted for.
Right.
Well, here's the other piece. We had
1, 2, 3,
checked,
4,
and
5,
the
6,
passive
7, 8.
grant that we usually apply for this is an eligible use if we're subbing it out. We can't do it ourselves. So that could be another $5,000.
It's just about the whole side. If the highway side is 16.
Passive grant, there's always a list of departments that want that
Right,
on that
yeah.
passive grant.
The only other thing for that one so far was we had talked about doing AED paddles. And here, which is about $1,500, so that's just an option. If you wanted to proceed with it, that would get you most of the garage side.
So my thought is to approve the exterior door bollards. Apply for the grant. If we get it, we can at that time consider the interior ones. If we don't get it, we'll have to budget for that next year.
Sounds good, I make that motion.
Okay?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All right.
Okay, Butch, you can start with the outside and we'll work our way around. So, this is the Millbrook.
So we're contacting the Millbrook and saying, just proceed with the outside.
Yes, we have the budget money for the exterior. And we're going to apply for a grant for some money to do the interior, but at this point, we don't have the money to do it.
Okay. I think the grant is August 14th. So probably wouldn't know until later, but, okay.
Okay.
We might need to chat about that again next time.
Yes.
Depending on what he says.
Okay, grader repair. Butch, you broke our grader.
Don't wore it out.
your rental one has 16,000 hours on that.
I saw it going down the road though.
Oh, yes, I said that, but just to put it in perspective, ours got about 12,000.
Okay, so you want to give a little spiel about what's going on?
We have 2 estimates on repairing it. Milton Cat was $449 even. And Ted Lane Equipment was an estimate of $18,500. And both of these were to fix the transmission and the turbocharger, rebuild the transmission and replace the turbocharger.
Okay. So the transmission first and fourth are gone, is that, and now reverse is gone as well?
Yes.
So
First reverse.
pretty much we're dead in the water.
I mean, both of these, they both came and inspected the machine and looked at it and, you know, recommended not to keep using it.
So, and the turbocharger, the turbo is actually leaking, which normally means that the bearings are beginning to fail and have caused the seal to leak. The danger with that being that if the bearing should fail, it has the potential to go back into the pistons and ruin your engine. So that's why both options are being discussed.
It's a must.
At this time, the select board had approved the use of a rental grader in order to get the work done because both estimates were basically a month, 2 weeks out in order to get the machine repaired and then 2 weeks worth of repair work for the machine. So we have the grader now.
Yes, we're still here.
Okay, so we had elected to spend $4,500. That is a rental for 1 month from Winterset Construction. And you should be able to finish the grading that you need to do in that 1 month time. Okay. So at this point, it comes to repairing the grader. Looking into options for a newer grader. Gentlemen, what are your...
I did some investigation on the web for used motor graders. And basically, the most information was on machinerytrader.com, which is probably the biggest selling site in the US, and it's international. And for starters, there weren't very many year-old machines to be had, and not very many with 1,000 hours or less. Most of them were 2017, 2016 machines with a couple thousand to 4,000 hours on them, roughly speaking. And the price range was basically $250,000 to $300,000 for a 2-year-old machine with a 3-year-old machine with 2,000 to 3,000 hours on it. So that very much puts me in favor of repairing ours, at least for the foreseeable future.
Richard, we also asked if you would sit in on these conversations and have your thoughts as well, so I'm happy to hear your opinion at this time.
Again, like Bruce has already mentioned, I went online and went to a different site called Cat Used, and there are thousands listed graders.
Well, there was a lot listed,
Yes.
yeah.
But you could put parameters in as far as
Yeah.
put in 2,500 hours and 150,000. And there are some available in the United States. There's many of them available in Europe, but that's transportation of period. But there are some available in the United States. But in that line of thought, this grader is absolutely worthless unless you fix it. If it's repaired, you'll get another 2, 3, 4 years out of it anyway to get you up to that dollar mark that you need to get the replacement grader. And this grader is still worth $45,000 easily.
So what are we on funds right now towards a different grader?
50,000.
You
So,
got a few years of use out of this one and put some in the capital
reserve.
For the next one.
So my first question would be to Shelley. And where does the money come from if we choose to repair it
Butch and
now?
I were talking, and like I told him, to me, this is an emergency. We need a grader. We're not in a position to buy a new grader at this point in time. I said if we have to use this fund balance to fix the grader and budget to make up the difference later, we can do that. We could have a special meeting and use the 50,000 that's put aside for the new grader, even though I would prefer to not do that. I prefer to use his fund balance.
So fund balance is what money exactly?
I did not bring the balance sheets, but I can go and get that number for you right now.
Okay, so basically it's money left over from last.
It gets us through from July 1 until tax money starts rolling in. So
Okay.
it's their little bit of reserve, which pays their payroll, all of their expenditures for the first
Couple of months.
4 or 5 months of, yeah, so there is some money that they have in their balance, but we certainly don't want to deplete it.
Right.
But it's there. We want to borrow against it, per se.
Okay.
And there may be, again, this would be your next topic of the mower town tractor. There may be enough, or there will be quite a bit under budget of what you have in your CIP to foot at least half of that bill. If you decide to buy that road tractor.
Okay, so I asked the question about what another grader would cost because I didn't want to throw good money after bad. I've looked online as well. I've weighed the idea of $4,500 for a month's rental on a grader and the use we put into a grader. And honestly, at this point, don't believe we need to own a grader. Or if we do, we need to be in league with 1 or 2 other towns so we share the cost of that equipment. But having said that, that makes me a minority. I agree that we need to fix the grader that we have. I agree that we could keep that grader for some time after that. Hopefully, at least 3 or 4 years to get our money's worth back out of that repair. But yeah, I would like a serious conversation later on as to whether that's even a feasible piece of equipment for the town to own. But at this point, we are talking about the repairs. So, gentlemen, what do you think about the repairs?
I think we need to get it repaired. And do you guys think it's gonna go 2, 3 years repaired? And I think we need to get it repaired.
You put all new clutches in it. Those there have 10 to 12,000 hours on it. And basically, from what I understand, they pull the filter and they realize it's fragment of the clutches. There's multi-plated clutches in there, and they're just wore out.
So we should be able, for what roads we have, we should get plenty of use out of that, and it should be worthwhile to get it.
You can get the money you're investing in it today back. She'll run for, it's a guess, but the turbo repaired, it won't be hurting the motor, and you get all the clutches repaired. If you make 10,000 hours, you should definitely get 4,000 or 5,000. You're talking 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
And that was a scheduled replacement at 2024.
What's that, Butch?
The replacement goes from the capital spending budget
Yeah.
is 2024.
Okay.
So that's 5 more years.
Yeah.
You should make it if you repair.
So, if we use their fund balance, is that going to leave them short?
They'll be fine.
That'd be okay.
Yeah, until November, they'll be fine.
Okay. So,
Is there any difference is there any warranty on this work? And is there any difference between the two shops on a warranty?
Who would you prefer in your mind?
Well, Ted Lane worked for Caterpillar for
Anyway.
25 years, so he's done hundreds of them for Caterpillar, so
There you go.
he's on his own now.
That pretty much answers it.
So,
And we're talking, what, 4,000?
warranty, I mean, we can get that in writing, you know, what each of them's warranty would be.
I mean, I'm in favor of going with Ted Lane.
he probably has more experience with that grader than anybody that currently works for Cat.
Yeah.
And that's what happens, yeah.
So, in light of which, I would move to have Ted Lane construction, is that it? Or construction repair?
Ted Lane equipment repair.
Repair our grader as quoted.
Okay, so 18,500.
We first started talking, it was, he could have had it in Monday, or yesterday, the 17th. And I told him we were having this meeting, so he said he would put it to next Monday, the 22nd, that he could take it in and start. So it'd be 2 weeks, which, you know,
So you'll be
we could have
getting,
one right.
you'll be getting mid-August, second Thursday of July.
Right, but you already have the rental grader now, so you could still,
Should have
yeah,
done our rental work,
right,
most of all our work with the rental, and
right.
so when we get ours back, we won't have much to do with it.
Sure.
But
I second it.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right, so you can arrange that, and Shelley, I'm sure, will be watching your pennies. Okay, so tractor offer. So, Butch, what can you tell me about the tractor with our mower?
we used it for
Over 2 days, 3 days.
2 to 3 days. We had our mower on it. It worked, Luke used it. We had a little trouble with the mower, but we got the mower fixed. And then we had a little trouble with the tractor, but Richard said that
It's got 2 leaks on it that are being handled by John Deere right now. 2 minor leaks that the plugs had fallen out. And that's the only issues that we found with running it. They've got a good 20 plus hours on it, they've used it. So all the hydraulics are changed, all the filters are changed. Any small bugs have been taken care of, and the last 2 are being taken care of right now.
So what's the reason of going that big a tractor?
so we could put a sidearm, a boom mower on it to cut brush.
Do you know how much one of them would cost, side mower?
The side mowers are, I should have had the paper here with me.
Around 30,000. I checked into that. And, you know, and what would it cost us to rent one of those in the fall for what we got to do?
It's about 3,000.
To do the whole town of Highgate?
I believe it was 3,000 a week.
3,000 a week.
When we
So-
first started doing it, it was 15 to 18. And we did it all in 2 weeks.
So are you, so you have been renting it, right?
Yeah.
So it costs you about 6,000 a year? Okay, so, yeah, I just, I don't know, I just feel that, is that Massey doing what it's supposed to be doing as far as cutting the roadsides and?
Yeah, the Massey, I mean, is doing the first pass until we get into the brush. You know, that's when we need to have a bigger tractor or.
My question is, I wish people would have told me when this come up. I live right on the Gore Road, 551. People need to come see me. I think I need to know what's going on. When I come here and I see, oh, what'd you do, guys, go buy a tractor? I didn't even get to know about it. It's sitting there. I need to know what's going on, I think a little bit. I'm not, you know, but I do feel that, okay, we buy this tractor. How long before? We haven't even talked about funds for a boom mower or anything like that. I feel right now, my feeling is, I think we got a nice little Massey Ferguson tractor. The funds, you know, all of a sudden this comes up, you know, I haven't heard nothing about it since March. Nobody said nothing until I come to a last meeting and it's sitting there, you know. I don't think we need a loader. We got enough loaders around here. I don't know. You know, I know the price wise. And he's saying 37,000. Don't want to get rid of that Massey. That's my feeling. I don't know what you guys think, but that's my feeling on the
Can I
problem.
ask what the other opinion on the other flight board? Sharon?
I would like to honestly speak in executive session with Butch about the tractor and what he feels he needs and whether or not that is the option he would like to go with before I make a public decision.
There's also the option on this tractor that it has quick tach and hydraulics to the front end, which you could put booms on and other apparatuses, even a front mower for that matter.
Yeah.
You have more options with this tractor. And I'm not presenting this, I'm not a dealer. I bought this thinking in the town, this would be a darn good buy for the town to last 20 years.
Yeah.
And that's why I presented to the town. If you don't want it, I'll bring it home. I could sell this tractor for more money.
Right.
I'm offering it for the town with just a few thousand. I've got trucked it over 300 miles. I've been to auctions this winter, bidding on tractors for the town. And right now, it's my money that's in this tractor.
Right. So that would be nothing against you, Richard, but I would, Butch has got to see to its maintenance and what have you, so I would like his private opinion. I'm not trying to.
I'd like to know, so then I can put it on the market.
Certainly.
And not wait till winter and I can't move it on as well.
Yep. Bruce?
I have kind of a different tack on this. I'm more in favor of hiring the road mowing done. I think it's more efficient. I think we're asking too much out of the Public Works Department crew. I'd throw a real crazy idea to Richard. Would you care to set the thing up and then contract with us to mow?
I don't want to invest another 30,000 in it.
Well, okay, for that kind of mowing, yeah. I know we're already doing the mowing, but I also have a feeling there's a lot of other things that are not getting perhaps as much attention as they should. And these guys work hard, putting in a lot of time, and it seems to me it might be contracting out the mowing might be a better situation for us. So that's sort of a non-answer, and I'm sorry for that, but we haven't made, that's a whole other decision.
Well, I'd like to have an answer.
But
Not tonight, but at least tomorrow. Because then I'll know which direction.
I'm certainly gonna participate in talking with Sharon and Butch and Richard, following Sharon's wishes.
Because it also
Well-
increases your efficiency, increases your help as far as their safety. Those are issues.
I think it's,
I've got another busted window in another tractor,
yeah.
but that's what saved me.
No, I think it's the right sort of machine, probably for our needs. I don't know
And it
if we've
doesn't
got,
have the cheaper ag bucket either, if you look at it. That's the industrial.
yeah, I don't know if we've got enough men.
Well, you've been mowing now.
Need a woman.
50 years.
Well, that would work. I kind of agree with Sharon. I think we need to, a little
Okay,
bit more discussion.
so I'm gonna ask to table that until executive, and Butch, I would ask you to stay for that. So our traffic ordinance update is delayed. But I do know that Ty has a couple of things he would like to bring up for the rec.
No.
Done?
You don't have bylaws?
I asked to put it on the next agenda since you had so much on this agenda. They'll come in and they have a few things to talk to you about.
Okay. Okay, I was just trying to,
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Because it's 10 o'clock. Once you start talking with Ty, it's
okay. In that case, is there anything else for public comment? Okay, I would ask
I
for,
have one question for the select board.
please.
With our new police contract, will you be getting quarterly updates with Chief Taylor?
Yes. Yes, and with MVR.
Okay, perfect.
Yep. So thank you very much for coming. I would ask for executive session with Butch and Mary and Shelley and Heidi.
Mary?
Yeah, did you want to stay and talk to us about any of the things that we talked about?
Bye.
Or are you good?
Did you move out?
I second the motion.
Yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.